video, or rather how to update. This won't be like my previous videos where I go through and do all of the installing and stuff on camera. I'm just going to explain the process that I used to update. In fact, most of the updating is already done on my system, but there are a couple of things I do want to show in this video. To start, this is the changelog. You can find it under the guide list. Just go down to changelog, and this will tell you the things that have changed in the most recent update. And you can also go down and look at past updates by date. As you can see, this is a very large update though. But don't let that scare you. It's not that hard to update. Okay, first thing I do is look at what was added. Let me start from the beginning. The first thing I do is read through the entire changelog to get an idea of what exactly has changed. But once I'm ready to start, I go through. First thing I do is go through and download everything I need to download. All the new mods and all of the mods that updated. That takes a while. But once we're ready to actually do the installing, I go through what was added first, and they break it down by what page the mods come from. So for example, the prerequisites page, we got a new Xedit script. Sorry, I can't talk today. A new Xedit script, so we download that into our utilities folder and extract it to the SSE edit. And another good tip is when you're doing these installs, open the page that corresponds to what you're doing. So like for prerequisites, I would open the prerequisites page, and then I would find the section where that was added, like right here. And I would look for this, special instructions on how to install it, or if there's something I needed to modify after installing, and things like that. Okay. Okay. And while I'm on the prerequisites page, I'll go through and look and see if there was anything on the prerequisite page that was removed. In this case, there's not. And then I would look to see if there was anything on the prerequisites page that was updated. There were several things that were updated. And to update tools, like for example, Find-A-Lot, you would just download it and delete what was already there and extract it and re-extract it. The key thing though is to make sure that the path to the exe stays the same. That way you don't have to update anything in Mod Organizer because the path is the same, it'll still look in the same spot. If the path is different, even by like one letter or one word, you need to go into Mod Organizer and change the path to the exe so it knows where to look. Okay. There were a couple of new loot groups added. I'll get to that later when I do the finishing line. And then that's it. And then you just go back to the top. What was added on mod page 1? I installed all those mods, and then I looked to see where they were in the in the left pane, and made sure to move the install to where it was supposed to be. Like alternate conversation camera goes with the other SKSE plugins. I looked to see which mod was before it and which mod was after it, and I placed it in between those two mods. Yeah. You also want to look and see if there are any special instructions for that. Like I think there is one for the alternate conversation camera, so let's just look at that one. There it is. See, there was manual INI editing required. If you just installed it and moved it to the correct position, you wouldn't know about this. So make sure you go to the section of the guide where it's installed to see if there's anything else you need to do besides just installing it. Okay, and that's how I do with adding mods. Now let's talk about updating. Oh, make sure you also go through and remove any mods that are being removed as you're going. I generally did this all in one. And this is a lot of the animation and skeleton replacers that we did. But it's not all of them. Make sure I think there's like 2 or 3 that we do keep, so just make sure you don't accidentally delete the wrong ones. But for updating mods, hang on. Like this one. This was one that came from Patch Hub, so make sure you change it. Lexy. Conflict resolution. I'm not actually going to do it, I'm just showing you what I did. Okay, looks good. Click OK. And on this page, you always want to do replace unless it's an update. Cancel. I just cancel that. There were a couple of mods that updated that you didn't have to re-download the whole mod. You only had to download the an update or a hotfix for it. So just make sure if you're doing an update or a hotfix that you just merge it with the parent mod. That way it's all in one. Or you could just re-download the entire mod and install it that way. It's just a waste of time. You could do it that way. And that is the update process in a nutshell. Just going through and also make sure when you're updating you still go to the page to see if there were any special instructions, like if the mod needed to be converted to ESL or had to be run through the CAO or anything along those lines. You always want to double check that there aren't any special instructions for it. Okay. And then we get to, once everything's installed, we have to go to the merge page. Now in the merge page it says that just these 4 merges changed, but you actually have to regenerate more than just these 4. These 4 just had files added to or removed from them, but other merges had files that were updated, but nothing actually changed in the merge itself. So I'm going to go through how to update a merge. Okay, and it's very simple. If you're on your main profile, always start from the main profile and then go to your merge plugin hide and unhide the merges. I've already unhid all of my merges. These 2 have had mods removed from them, so that's why they're showing as only some plugins active, and I'm about to do one of those to show what I'm talking about. But you want to unhide all of your merges. In fact, I usually unhide all of my merges before I even start installing and updating mods, just so that everything's out. But once you're doing the merges, make sure you unhide the merge before you change the profile. That way it keeps your load order from when you did the merge. Like if the one I'm about to do, the miscellaneous merge, if I had not unhid the profile, unhid the merge first, then on the plugins tab these would not be in the correct order. Okay, so that's why you always unhide the merge before switching the profile. And I picked this merge to do on camera because this one actually has all 3 of the things you need to look for. You need to look for mods that were added, mods that were removed, and mods that were updated. In this case, the spell tone level, frostfall, and SIC got added. I don't think anything else got added, but basically you would just go to the merge page and have your mod organizer open and just go through checking to make sure all of the mods that are listed here are there in the right order and there's no extra mods in between that needed to be removed. And if you find like a mod that is here that wasn't here before, that's a mod that would need to be added. Oh, this one also needed to be added, the USEP bug fix incorporation to SSOB. that was a new mod that was added to this merge, so you would have to activate it on this side and then move it into the correct position over here. But once you've done all that, you get to actually update the merge. So let's run zedit, switch to zmerge, start session, and then you would scroll down to that merge. There it is. Alright, the first thing you'll notice is that two of these are in red because they aren't active. That's because these mods got removed. So the first thing you'll do is remove unavailable plugins, and that gets rid of those two. Then you'll see that these two are in orange. That means that they've just been updated. The mods were there before, but now they have new ESPs and need to be rebuilt in order to get the thing. But we're not done yet. You have to go to Edit, go to Plugins, and activate the mods that got added. Okay, and then still use game load order on the load order page. Alright, and now you'll see that those mods got added into the correct spots on the list, and they're in green, showing that they're new and have not been added to the merge yet. Let's see. And then you just click build. Okay. And that is all there is to it for updating a merge. Now obviously if there was nothing removed or added to a merge, it just had the mods updated, it's even simpler. You don't even have to do anything, just click build. The only time you have to do something is if there were mods that were removed from the merge or added to the merge. Okay. And we're done with this one, so let's close that. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording and do the rest of the merges off camera, and then I'll pick this up with any tips and tricks for the finish line. Alright. Thank you. I will see you then. Oh, one thing I almost forgot to mention about merging though is after you've merged, make sure you if it needed to be flagged as an ESL, make sure you go back and reflag it as an ESL, because it's a new plugin now and it doesn't have that flag anymore. So you'll have to go back into SSE Edit and add the ESL flag. Alright, see you in the finish line. Okay, I was wrong. There's one more thing I need to mention before moving on to the finish line about merges. Two of the merges were removed. Not the mods that enter in the merge, just the merge themselves. So unhide those merges and just delete the one that had the merged ESP in it. Okay, we no longer need those merges, so those mods can be unhidden and just loaded normally. Alright, thank you, and now I really will see you in the finish line, promise. Hello, and we are back. Well, this is still the same video for you, so that made no sense then. Anyway, we're on to the finish line. This will be a very short episode, or well, not episode, short segment. That's what I meant to say. Words, I can use them. So yes, I'm not going to go through the finish line steps because there is about to be an update and I don't want to have to do it twice. So this is just a general how-to on what you should do when updating. First thing you need to do is go through the changelog for the finish line sections, like adding loot groups, and scroll down some more loot group rules. Rybash removed one of the options that we normally check. We're not checking it anymore. There's a new bash override to download. There's a new Lexy loader script to download. Some more updated instructions and all of that. And the changelog will also tell you what all needs to be done to, or redone rather, if you've already done all of the steps and you already have a guide set up. We've already done all the merges, so we still need to do bash patch, xedit output scripts, zedit, xlodgen, dynalod, and xlog gen occlusion output. So the first thing you would do before starting that is go into your mod organizer and basically disable everything from the finish line. Okay, mostly because you're going to need to run loot again and you don't want it to sort the stuff from the finish line, but also because the finish line needs to be run in a specific order. So you want to disable everything and run it in the order that it's supposed to be run, so that you don't get things that were generated later mixed in with stuff that, or mixed into a step that it wasn't supposed to be in, if that makes any sense. So basically disable your entire finish line section and go through it in order, following what this changelog says needs to be redone. If there's a step that doesn't need to be redone, you don't have to redo it, but still keep it unchecked until you get to the point where it needs to be rechecked. Okay? And that is pretty much it for updating the finish line section. All right. Thank you for joining me, and I will hopefully see you when I start my game. Hopefully soon.